Hey guys, what is going on? Jurgen from ZurGrinoSports here, and today we are coming at you with the April 9th, 2021 edition of Smackdown Review. Not only the Smackdown go-home for WrestleMania, but the final go-home show for WrestleMania, seeing as Raw is before Smackdown in the week. So, our final go-home for Mania. Before we get into it, let me know what you guys thought of SmackDown down in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Let me know what you think of the WrestleMania build. If you'd like to join the Discord server in the channel, you could do so. Link in the description. Twitter's in the description. And at the end of the review, if you guys enjoy the video, leave a like and subscribe and that shit. But without further ado, let's get into the review. So we started off with a Daniel Bryan promo, where he says we are so close to WrestleMania, and he's excited for WrestleMania, and he's excited to, wrestle for the title and all this, but he's excited to wrestle in front of the fans, in front of a live audience. The Thunderdome's great, but there's nothing like a live audience. There's nothing like wrestling at WrestleMania in the live audience. There's nothing like winning the world title in the main event of WrestleMania, and he can't wait. He mentions how his career has revolved around him being told no. Is he big enough? No. Does he belong in the WWE? No. Is he a superstar? No. Is he best for business? No. Is he the face of WWE? No. Main event of Mania? If you ask Batista, Randy, the Authority, Bryan, Roman, Edge, they'll say no. But if you ask me, you're damn right I do. Every time life has told him no, he has said yes. When he had to retire, when they said he couldn't wrestle again, blah, blah, blah. Will he wrestle again? No, yes. Will he win the world title again? No, yes, all that stuff. He talks about how he's facing an angry Roman and Edge. Edge doesn't want him in the match because it's Edge's moment kind of thing. Roman's enraged that Bryan tapped him out for the first time in his career, and he knows that if it happens at Mania, everything that Roman says he is will be proven to be false, and all that stuff. And he says, he knows who he's facing in Mania, but who are they facing at WrestleMania? They're getting a fired-up Daniel Bryan, a Daniel Bryan who is going to, tap out Roman, who's going to kick off Edge's head despite his neck, all this stuff. And then that all brings me back to one final question. Can I walk out as the Universal Champion? Yes, yes, yes. Leads to a yes chant. We cut backstage into Gorilla for the Profits also doing their yes chant before their interview, where they are asked about finally having a title opportunity for the Tag Team Championship, which is the hashtag Dirty Dogs' first title defense since winning them 3 months ago, apparently. So, good shit. 30-day clause? What is that? Okay. Granted, the 30-day clause has always been a loose rule, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because, you can use it conveniently to your to your benefit as the storyteller, I guess, because if you want to use it to create something, you can, but if you're trying to create something that it gets in the way of, just brush it aside and forget about it. You know what I mean? I don't know. But anyways, they're asked about their title opportunity. They say that it's about time that they got it. They're going to win like Daniel Bryan. They're going to celebrate. Then the Dirty Dogs attack them. They brawl from Gorilla onto the stage. Mysterios and the Alphas get involved before we go to commercial break. And when we come back from commercial break, as I turn my page, we have the tag title Fatal 4-Way to start off the in-ring action of SmackDown this week. They got decent time for the tag match, a couple commercial breaks, so it was over multiple segments. There was a cool spot. There was a false finish where the Rude and Ziggler were on the ropes for a double 619. They hit the double 619. Rude drops back. Ray gets Dolph out of there. Dominic hits the frog splash on Rude, and then Otis breaks up the pinfall. I thought that was actually the finish, so that actually got me because, I personally thought that Ray and Dom were going to win the titles, and I was upset about that because it wasn't going to be in front of fans, but they can still wait until they do it in front of fans because when we get to the finish here, Gable and Dawkins are in the ring. Gable has a waistlock on Dawkins into the corner. Montez tags, roll out, roll through, deadlift German by Gable to Dawkins. And then as he lands on the German, Montez does a springboard frog splash onto Gable. And then Rude tags in off of Montez Ford after he gets up from his frog splash. Ziggler gets in, super kicks Montez, gets him out, and then Rude pins Gable off of Montez Ford's frog splash. And the hashtag Dirty Dogs retain the championships. The match quality was great. I liked it. Maybe not great. But I mean, it was good. I would have liked if they went a little bit longer, and I'll tell you why, because they had time to do it. There were 2 moments tonight where there were Raw feuds given video package that each took like 3, 4, 5 minutes. You could have given any time from one of those to the tag title Fatal 4-Way and gave it a little bit more time so they could make it an even better match. So a little bit disappointing that they didn't give them that extra time, but regardless, it was still a good match within the time that they were given, in my opinion, of course. So the decision have the hashtag Dirty Dogs, retain the tag titles is one that I'm not mad at. Because, once again, I thought Rey and Dominic were going to win the tag titles. I think that is definitely coming in the future, and I was really upset about this match being put onto Smackdown because I thought Rey and Dom were going to get their win without the fans, like I said. I think it still should have been put on Mania, honestly, but the fact that Rey and Dom didn't win, I think, is fine, because I think that should be done in front of fans. So it's better to hold it off and have them not win than have them win in front of nobody, because that would be a great moment. And the funny thing about Dominic is he has yet to wrestle in front of fans. His first ever match was that SummerSlam match that, was in the middle of COVID happening. He hasn't had a match in front of fans. So it's going to be, I feel like, if his first match in front of fans can be him winning those tag titles, I think that would be a really, really special moment for him and for Rey. It would be a nice feel-good story. I think the tag division is perfect for Dominic to grow as a competitor. It's perfect to give Rey something that he can be high up in the card and have a prominent role as a tag team champion or as a tag team number 1 contender without having him get spots that the younger talent should be getting. You know what I mean? So I think the tag division is perfect for them. I think there's great stories you could tell with them. And I think that they should absolutely wait for fans being in attendance to pull the trigger on that tag title win. You could have done it, tomorrow or the night after. It's I almost said SummerSlam, at WrestleMania night 1 or 2 in front of the fans. But maybe they don't want to pull the trigger on them yet. Maybe there's some contract stuff with Dolph and Rude. You know what I mean? You never know. If they wanted to leave and go to AEW, I'm sure they could. They could go anywhere. They're both incredibly talented. So maybe they're like, hey, we'll put the tag titles on you if you stay. And then they're like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? I genuinely don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to put the tag titles on Rey and Dom without fans. Maybe they didn't feel comfortable putting them on Otis and Gable. And then maybe they didn't want to put them back on Street Profits. I do think putting them back on the Street Profits would have been a mistake because they don't need it right now. I think their role right now should be helping elevate the division by putting other people over, not in the sense of becoming like a jobber tag team, you know what I mean? Give them wins here and there, but kind of have them go on a 50-50 run for a little bit, putting over people in the important matches, and then when you need them to be the number 1 contenders again, or you need them for another title run, you can give them a string of wins, and then, granted, this is all hypothetical because the WWE does not give a shit about tag team wrestling. They don't give a shit about their tag team divisions. So whatever. But the match was great. I'm fine with the result. Again, I'm not happy that Gable took the pin. Out of everybody in the match, I feel like Otis should be taking the pin, but obviously they want to protect Otis for, I don't want to say for some reason, because obviously Otis does have a little bit potential there. I just think that Gable has main event potential that the management isn't seeing. So I think he should be protected more so than Otis in that tag team. But the finishing sequence was really good. I'm going to look past Gable taking the win because the roll through deadlift German into the frog splash, into the heels stealing the win off of the work of the other tag team. It's great heel tag team work. This finishing sequence was aesthetically pleasing with good maneuvers and stuff like that. And you have a segue into a Profits and Dirty Dogs tag title match maybe down the line, because, the Profits could be like, hey, listen, we really won that match. You pinned off of my move. My move had him beat. That means we technically beat them. We should get a shot for your titles, to be able to actually win the titles or something like that. So you have an easy in to a tag title match based off the finish, good heel work, aesthetically pleasing, good maneuver, good pacing. So I'm going to look past Gable taking the pin, as much as it pains me to see him take the pin, because he's literally Kurt Angle 2.0. You fucking morons in management. Why don't you see it? But yeah, I'm going to look past it because I think the match was good enough and the finish was good enough and the finish had enough psychology that made sense for it to, kind of be like, okay, whatever. It's fine this week if Gable took the pin in this one. So yeah, strong start to the night. I mean, I don't remember if I said I liked the Bryan promo or not. The Bryan promo was really good. I really enjoyed it. He's not winning at Mania, but I really enjoyed his promo. It made sense and everything like that. His delivery was good. So really liked Bryan's promo. And then I really liked the opening match. So it was a strong start to Smackdown. Then we had Bianca backstage interview where she was asked how she's feeling. She says she has butterflies. And she's excited. She's nervous. And she said that her dad always said that it's good to be nervous because it means you care. And it's okay to be nervous as long as you're not scared. And she's not scared. So she mentions how it's an opportunity of a lifetime and she wants to win so bad. She's asked about Sasha, being willing to do anything to win. Bianca, are you willing to do anything to win? She's like, listen, I'm the strongest, fastest, all that spiel. I have all the tools to win, which makes me dangerous. And when I beat Sasha to become champ, it's going to be the greatest night of my life. Obviously, Bianca should win. That's obviously the correct call for Mania. You don't want to chop the legs out of the person you're propelling. You know what I mean? Right now, so she has to win really tomorrow night. The only thing with Bianca is I feel like she kind of telegraphs when she's going to win, because before the Rumble, her promo on the SmackDown when she beat Bayley, right then and there, I was like, okay, she's winning the Rumble, because she seemed so overcome with good, happy emotions. And I'm like, okay, I feel like she's winning the Rumble. That might have just been me overlooking it, but I saw that same amount of emotion in her promo tonight at the end of it, which I think, granted, it's not really giving away anything. It is absolutely the right decision, and if they don't do it, I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. But I feel like we can rest easy in assuming that she's going to win now, because I feel like she kind of telegraphed it like she did her Rumble win, just in my opinion. Maybe I'm looking too much into things. Maybe she's just really good at selling emotion and it's not correlated. I don't really know. But yeah, man. Good promo. It fit with her character. It fit with her catchphrases and stuff, the EST stuff. She, she did what she's been doing a lot, where she calls back on lessons that her family have taught her, which makes her really relatable, and it makes her likable, because when you have somebody who's respectful and who's humble and who you can kind of look at as one of you, as somebody like you're more inclined to cheer for them, because you're like, hey, if somebody like me can do it, I can do it, so I want to cheer for them so I can cheer for myself, kind of thing. And it gives you hope and it gives you all that shit, right? So I think her promos are great. I think the backstage interview was great. They feel authentic because they don't feel like some white 40-year-old is writing it for her. It feels like she can kind of have some freedom to, improv, I guess it's not improv's not the word, but improv essentially. You know what I mean? So yeah, it feels like she has that. She's one of the people that maybe has that freedom to either make it up as she goes during the promo, or maybe she has writing input to make it sound authentic. Because when she speaks, it sounds authentic. It doesn't sound like some 40-year-old white executive wrote it for her. Because a lot of promos, they don't sound like the person speaking. They sound like the person reciting a promo. I think Bianca is one of the people who kind of sounds like they're cutting their own promo a little bit. So, yeah, man, the feud, it has gone past needing any physical advancement towards the match. So having her do a backstage interview later on in the night, Sasha has one as well, makes sense as the go home stuff that they do. So I'm excited to see the match. I'm happy that they confirmed that it's main eventing, because they definitely deserve the main event in terms of cultural significance. And then within kayfabe, the Rumble winner main events. So just even ignoring how culturally significant it is and all that stuff, it should main event regardless. You know what I mean? If this was night 2, like the Edge match, because he's the Rumble winner, should main event night 2, which it will, and then the Bianca match should main event night 1 because it's the Rumble winner. So, and that's, and then you add on to that, it's a women's main event. It's a women's single main event that's not over reliant on the company's fucking favorite daughter-in-law, pretty much, to Vince McMahon, really. And then a UFC star who used the company for a year to put herself over and then fucked off to go start a family. So thanks for taking a year of opportunities away from the women who are there every day, every week for 10 years plus. So thanks, Ronda, go fuck yourself. But, you know what I mean? Like it's, and then obviously Becky deserved to be in that match, though, the triple threat, because Becky was probably the most popular female act in wrestling history. So she definitely deserved to be in there. As much as I hate on Ronda's run, because she came, she won, she beat everybody, and then she left before she could put anybody over, really. And she didn't even really put over Becky because they had that like fumbled finish that looked like a botch so they could protect Ronda, So as much as me not being a fan of Ronda as I am, that wouldn't have been a women's main event without Ronda, so fair play. Charlotte had no reason to be in that match beyond Vince being in love with her, really. So she can fuck off. But this is a singles women's main event, you know what I mean? It's 2 black women too, which is huge, right? Because has that ever happened in a main event? I don't think so. Not that I can, off the top of my head, that I can remember. So, I mean, it's great. So it's culturally significant. And then, again, in the kayfabe, it's the Rumble winner. So absolutely the right call for the main event. And then this was a good backstage interview by Bianca. I went on a little bit of a tangent with going into why it's good that it's the main event. I went into a big tangent ranting about Ronda Rousey and Charlotte, but we keep going. Then we had a Big E promo, which was very good as well. Where he talks about how Apollo's been saying, he's remembered where he came from and stuff. Biggie says that he never forgot, Mania's in his hometown, and he's getting a haircut at this during the promo. He's like, "This is my barber, a legend here. I never forgot, and this is where I come to get a trim. This is where I come to get my mind right. Here's the river or something. Here's where we're going to have our match. Here's where I went to school. Here's where I went on, 2 kilometers. I don't know the measurement he said, but he would go on like really long runs before grueling wrestling training. This is where his work ethic came from. This is where he learned how to grind, and stuff like that. And at WrestleMania, he's going to defeat, Big E. Sorry, he's Big E. He's going to defeat Apollo, and this is where Apollo's Intercontinental title dreams come to die. So, brilliant Big E promo. It was short and to the point. It was really good. It was serious Big E, because this feud at this point warrants and needs serious Big E. it was great because he called on his personal experience, his personal background after Apollo had been like, hey, I remembered where I came from, and that's why I'm dominant. He's like, you're dominant because you remembered where you came from. I'm dominant because I never forgot. So it's really good mirroring. It's really good stuff. The promo's good. So good shit. I'm excited for that match. It's gonna be a weird one though, because either like Big E probably shouldn't lose, but also Apollo kind of needs to win if you want his gimmick to be taken seriously. So I don't know. It's going to be a weird one for sure. But then we had a Fiend and Randy Orton video package. Don't know why they're showing that on SmackDown. They did another one, I think, for Lashley and Drew later, which we'll mention very briefly in passing. But I'll mention my main gripe with those two being on it right now. It doesn't make it made it feel like this is a pre-show. Right? And I don't think you want SmackDown to feel like that, because you want SmackDown to feel like SmackDown. If it would have just been SmackDown stuff, like if you would have shown video packages for SmackDown matches, cool. That's awesome. It's SmackDown. But the fact that they put Raw video packages on just kind of made it feel like a generic pre-show kind of thing a little bit, which I didn't like. And you guys know I don't like the interbrand stuff. So you guys, guess what? The next match was Naya versus Tamina. Oh boy, did I hate this. Not only is it a Raw superstar accompanied by her Raw superstar tag partner and her now Raw valet in Reginald, right, facing a SmackDown superstar in a match that's not for the tag titles, which are the only reasons Naya and Shayna and now Reggie should be able to come to SmackDown to defend their tag titles, not for a random singles match that has no reasoning. It's a Nia Jax singles match, it's a Tamina singles match, and it's against each other on SmackDown for no reason. And it's breaking in, brand split shit, and it stunk, brother. It was not good, man. There was a little funny segment like a minute or two into the match very quickly where Reginald got on the rope, started taunting Tamina after Tamina got some offense on Naya. Naya was like slumped over in the corner. And then Tamina grabs Reggie to try and bring him in. Shayna's holding him by like the foot, and he's hung over the top rope. So they're kind of in a tug of war over Reggie, which was a little bit funny as a aesthetic. The match happened. It stunk. It wasn't good. Neither of them are good. Put them together, it's not going to be good. Whatever. Shayna attacks Tamina while she's doing her pinfall on Naya at like a 2.5 count, 2 3/4 count, whatever the fuck. Then Natty gets in to brawl with Shayna. Tamina and Natty beat down Shayna a little bit before she gets out of the ring and backs down with Naya and Reginald. Just shit, like Shayna can take clean loss after clean loss and distraction loss after distraction loss all you want, but you're going to protect Naya like that. And at the same, like the thing is with Naya, right? Having her get a DQ loss on a 2.5 count, 2 3/4 count, 2 6/8 count, 7/8 count, whatever the fuck you want to call it, on essentially a 3 count, getting a DQ loss on a 3 count, it doesn't protect her like you think it does. If you do that to somebody who has an undefeated streak, it works, because guess what? If I have an undefeated streak, no, it doesn't. Never mind. It's a DQ loss. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. I'm tired is what it is. It doesn't protect you that much. You know what I mean? Like if Tamina's picking up a head of steam, for example, and she's like, let's say each wrestler has like 4 signature moves and then like 2 finishers, right? Let's say I'm on my 3rd signature in my like kind of ramping up to the finish segment of the match, right? If my tag team partner, my manager, my valet then comes in and attacks, that protects me because, oh shit, they were ramping up for the finish. That could have been the finish, but you don't know if it was the finish. So you can't, unequivocally say he had him beat, she had her beat, because it's in the lead up to the finish. But I could have reversed the next signature, I could have reversed the next move, I could have reversed the finish, I could have kicked out of the finish, I could have, this and that. There's so many unknowns, there's so many variables that if you attack while they're picking up steam, that does protect the person a little bit, because they didn't lose, and it wasn't guaranteed that they were going to lose. But when they're about to lose a pinfall, and then you're like, DQ, why? That doesn't do anything unless you're trying to maybe build to Naya, being like, hey, you didn't pin me, bish, I'm better. And she's like, well, I kind of did, but your Goonie got involved. If you're trying to set up another match, then fine, yeah. But I don't think that's what they should be doing. And I don't think anybody wants to see that, except for Tamina, who thinks that her and Naya staring off at the Survivor Series 2017 pay-per-view was the same as Shawn Michaels, Taker, Hogan, Andre, and Rock Hogan. So delusional. But yeah, just the match stunk. The whole premise of Naya, a Raw superstar, having a singles match against Tamina on SmackDown. Tamina's SmackDown, so that's fine, but like, it's just not great, man. It stunk. It was garbage, especially the finish. It was a shit finish as well, on top of it being an awful match and an awful segment and awful everything. So we move on to a Riot Squad interview backstage, where Billy interrupts and they're like, what are you doing? You don't even have a tag partner. Carmella comes by and she's like, actually, yes, she does. And then Riot's like, okay, thank fuck. And then Riot says how they are laser focused, and what gives them the edge is that they got rid of their sidekick, referring to Billy. They learn from their losses, and they're more in sync with each other than they have ever been. Carmella's then like, nah, I'm going to win the titles. And then Billy's like, no, we. And she's like, yeah, and I'm this and that. And then Billy's like, no, we. And trying to get a compliment. And then, Carmella and her go back and forth a little bit. Then I think it was Mandy and Dana came in. They're like, oh, yeah, but what about us, dude? You think we can win? And then Lana and Naomi were like, oh, but what about us, dude? What the fuck, dude? And then they all did the whole standoff thing, one by one, across each other. And they were like, oh, we doing this again? And then this time it devolved into a brawl, which then, as Liv and Dana, I think, were getting up from the, results of the brawl, pretty much, to like kind of have their last showdown. Tamina and Natty come by. I think Tamina throws Liv into a storage crate, which looked like genuinely like she fucking yeeted her into that thing, because like the sound of the impact, the way she sold it, looked like it was genuine pain. It looked like she just went ribs first into a metal storage crate. I mean, you can't fake that. So yeah, and then Natty had Dana, and she's like, you're worthless, or you're a waste of life, or something like that. It was kind of like a, you're something. It was something about not like being worthless or whatever, waste of whatever. And then she threw her into the same storage crate, but head and shoulder into the same storage crate. Not that shampoo brand though. But yeah, man. Tamina and Natty gotta look strong, dude. They gotta look strong. Tamina didn't just beat Naya. They gotta beat up the rest of the division. Wow, dude. If they win and they do Natty and Tamina versus fucking Naya and Shayna at WrestleMania, I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but a Shayna Baszler match will be my piss break / snack break / I'm tired, I'm going to go fucking away for a second break match at night 2 of WrestleMania, because I do not want to see that match in the slightest. And that's a match with Shayna Baszler, and I fucking love Shayna Baszler because she's incredible. She looks legit. She acts legit. She adds legitimacy to the roster. She's unique and she stands out because of her wrestling style. Like she should be one of the top contenders for the women's titles, but she's stuck in a tag team, so she can take losses for Naya. So that's great. And by great, I mean awful. Fuck you, Vince McMahon. So yeah, man. Not great. I mean, they just rehashed what they did on Raw, added a brawl to it, and then whatever. It's not awful. It's not the end of the world. It's nothing groundbreaking. But I mean, for a match that doesn't have build to it, who cares? It's not like we're expecting some fucking like Stone Cold Rock fucking go home segment for a random number one contenders match on night 1 to set up a match on night 2. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter. Again, though, I don't like Tamina and Natty looking strong after, Tamina essentially just beat Naya. So yeah, man. Let's move on, dude. Real quick. Actually, I'll save it for the predictions video, I think. I just had a Carmella and Billy thing, but I'll save it for the predictions video, which will be out tomorrow afternoon-ish. It'll be out before Mania Night 1 starts, I fucking hope, at least, unless I have like some technical problems or something. But when I wake up early, I'm going to record it when I wake up and then have it render and export and all that shit, and then hopefully it'll be out sometime around noon or so, maybe a little bit later, maybe, whatever. I don't know. It'll be out before Night 1 starts, though, tomorrow, my predictions video. I'll do predictions for both nights in the same video, obviously. So, but yeah, man. I'll just mention the Carmella and Billy thing that I was going to there. Then we had maybe my favorite thing tonight, you know what I mean? And it's there were so many good things tonight in terms of promos, but this is maybe my favorite thing. We had a political attack advertisement based on Cesaro, where it's like, oh, you think Cesaro? He's been here like 10 years and he hasn't had a single one-on-one match at WrestleMania. He's never been Universal Champion. Seth Rollins is who we deserve. He's a 2-time Universal Champion. He's this and that. He's a holder of iconic moments in WrestleMania history. He's who we need. He's who we deserve. All you have to do is embrace the vision, and then at the end of it, in what was very clearly Seth Rollins, they did the whole ad paid for by, and he said ad paid for by friends of Seth Rollins and is no way directly associated to Seth Rollins. It was fantastic. Honestly, if they just do that with Seth every week, I don't give a fuck who he feuds with. I don't give a fuck who he wins against or loses against. Just give me a Seth Rollins political attack advertisement against everybody on the roster. I fucking want it. It was so good. And then we went on to what was one of the best things on the night in a more serious sense and less of a, over-the-top, nonsensical, I'm a fucking delusional heel sense like Seth Rollins. We go into the serious, psychotic, delusional heel, but not so delusional in this promo. Basically, we had an Edge promo. He was sat in the middle of the ring, spotlight on him, lights out. Psycho Edge is the best Edge, if we're being honest. So, and this promo is great. He said how he went to WrestleMania 6. Hogan and Savage. Nope. Hogan and Warrior? I don't fucking care, brother. He went to WrestleMania 6, and that night he knew what he needed to do with the rest of his life. And when he dreams something, he has to manifest it. And, some people might think that way, some people might not, but most people won't, because common sense isn't that common anymore. But he did it. He accomplished everything that he set out to do, except for ending his career on his own terms. And some might ask, isn't that enough? And the fact that you have to ask that question shows that you're not on the same level mentally as I am. No, it wasn't enough. I didn't walk away from this. I had it ripped away from me. I fought and ripped my career back from the hands of fate. And I came back to steal the show in Hold on a second. I'm having a stroke, brother. He came back. He didn't come back for a farewell tour. He came back to steal the show and main event WrestleMania and win the World Heavyweight Championship, the Universal Championship, I guess. Daniel Bryan always talks about how this could be his last Mania. A month in Bryan's career is like a year in Edge's career. What do you think it is for Edge? What do you think it is for me? He brought up how Bryan had his ideas for the shit again, how he said, oh, I'll face the person right after the match. Oh, I'll face Edge night 1 and the winner faces Roman night 2, all that stuff. And now he sees himself in a 3-way. Daniel Bryan could pin Roman Reigns and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. This was supposed to be a match of the ages, and now some indie bookstore troll is sticking his nose in our business. But Roman, you walk around here acting like everybody owes you something. But let's keep it real here. You owe me. You debuted in WWE in a 3-man group. You made your entrance through the crowd. You do a spear as a finisher. You're Samoan Edge. But you know what? You are good, and you always have been. And somewhere in all of this, and he talks about how, he's good. He says how somewhere in all of this, it's been lost that the match at Mania happens to fall 10 years to the day of his retirement. If this was about Daniel Bryan, you'd be seeing it in all the video packages, but you don't see it in video packages for me with piano music playing and stuff like that. And why? It's because ever since I came back, I haven't been receiving the respect that I deserve. I recovered from a torn pectoral or whatever the fuck injury he had against Randy. You know, got in the Royal Rumble match at number 1. Did the whole Rumble, won the match. I shouldn't have to jump through hoops. I've done something that no one in sports, let alone sports, period, not sports entertainment, has done, coming back from a triple fusion neck surgery. You guys don't know the pain that I've gone through to come back, and I'm not a part-timer. I'm not this and that. So it's a slap in my face to call me that. You will put respect on my name. I am the rated R superstar. I am the next Universal Champion because I've dreamt it, and now I'll manifest it. So I really loved this promo. It was obviously, I'm just reading it out, so I didn't deliver it like he did. He delivered it so well, so intense. You could feel the emotion and stuff like that. Fantastic promo. And the thing that I love about the promo is that it has reality in it. He did, fight back from this and that. He did win the number 1 from number 1 in the Royal Rumble. He did all this and that. He is a heel because of the actions that he's done intermingled with that. But as an unreliable narrator that he is right now in his own world, his version of the story is what puts him in the right as the heel, and it makes sense, and he's delivering it perfectly. So, fantastic promo. One of the best promos of the year. I think maybe Big E's promo I slightly prefer, but they're pretty much on the same level. Not Big E's promo from earlier tonight. Big E's promo from about a month ago now, a few weeks ago now, when he came back from the attack by Apollo, and he said he was going to get biblical and how pinning him isn't enough. That promo from Big E, I think it's like head to head with this Edge promo is maybe the best promo of the year, because this was a fantastic promo. So, yeah, man. Then we had Pierce and Sonya backstage, where Pierce is like, yo, who would have thought that this and this would be happening, blah, blah, blah. And then Sonya's like, yeah, everybody's excited for Mania, but I mean, like, can we talk about tonight? It wasn't fair that Rude and Ziggler had to defend their titles, against 3 other people. And he's like, that has nothing to do with Mania. And she's like, oh, you're right. Speaking about Mania, though, if you want to talk about Mania, Bryan shouldn't be in the triple threat. I don't think that's fair. I think it should be a singles match, Roman and Edge. And then he's like, oh, okay. And then she kind of walks away. So more teasing of Sonya heel, brother. Let's go. Then we had a Sasha backstage interview where she says Bianca may be the EST, but she's not the best because I am. Bianca said she's going to give her all, and I want her to do that because I'm going to give it back to her boss style. When I tap her out at WrestleMania, she'll know her place beneath me because I'm the best, BEST. And she'll know after giving it her all that her all wasn't enough, and stuff like that. So, man. Confident heel Sasha, it fits. It's a good promo. She did her laugh at the end, which really annoys me, which I think is a good thing because, I'd assume that she does it so people are annoyed or dislike it. Her like ah ha 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 thing that she does. I really don't like it, but I think that's intentional, and I think that's a good thing that I don't like it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not supposed to like it. So I don't know. But yeah, if I'm supposed to like it, or if I'm supposed to be like, ooh, that's a good laugh for your character, then it's falling flat because it's shit. If I'm supposed to look at it and be like, that's shit, I hate that, don't do that, so that she can do it more so she gets that reaction more, then it's perfect. So yeah, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. The promo was fine. The backstage interview was fine. Her talking points were good. And yeah, just simple stuff building until Bianca wins that title next tomorrow night. So actually, by the time this gets uploaded, it might be tonight because it might be past midnight, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see when this goes live. I don't know. Maybe you're watching this after WrestleMania night 1 for whatever reason, dude. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I was wrong about Bianca winning. If I was, and you're watching this after, and she didn't win last night or just now or 2 days ago or however long ago, fuck Vince McMahon. So, yeah, man, we had the Drew Lashley video package that I mentioned. And then we had a Sammy Network exclusive shown where he was visiting Logan Paul during his sparring, where he's sparring with Jake. So they got Jake on WWE television. And he talks about how the trailer's doing well and how he wants to go grab his gear and spar with them. And then he leaves through a door that closes behind him. He's like, oh, where'd I park? He's like, oh, shit, I need to get back in. So he tries to get back in. He's locked. Security opens the door. And he's like, hey, I'm getting in. He's like, oh, we're closed. It's like, no, I know, but I'm with Logan Paul. He's like, we're closed, and then locks the door on him. Then they cut it off. The commentary tries to go forward. And Sammy's like, hey, no. What are you doing, man? You're just showing the negative stuff, man. Yeah, security didn't let me in, but Logan chewed it out. Like, we had breakfast together, man. You're just showing what you want to show to put me in a bad light. Like, what are you doing to me, man? That's not right. And then they're like, oh, well, what did Logan have for breakfast? And he's like, oh, grapefruit salad. Look, it doesn't matter. Blah, blah, blah. The armbar participants start coming out, Andre Battle Royal, and then Kevin Owens attacks Sammy while he's on commentary. He was doing it in a commentary headset, talking to commentary, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. And then Kevin Owens comes out, attacks Sammy. Sammy gets away for a second and hightails through the crowd, and Kevin Owens says he's gonna beat his ace pretty much at WrestleMania. So we got that right there. Then we had the armbar coming back from commercial. I think we had a couple of commercials in the armbar too. The armbar got like 20 minutes or so. We had, real quick, the Retribution members were in the match, still under their Retribution gimmicks as Slapjack, T-Bar, and Mace. Why? You only took on those gimmicks because you joined Mustafa Ali's vision for being Retribution, right? You only took on those names and those gimmicks because you were part of Retribution. Now that Retribution's done, why are you still being Retribution? Are they still deciding how they want to repackage them? So they were just like, fuck, like, we can't just repackage you and then the next night, oh, you're not Dijak anymore. You're like fucking Tommy fucking Baloney or something, like, I don't know, brother. So I don't know why they were still in their shit. Shelton and Cedric eliminated Tozawa and then Tucker. And then the whole pretty much rest of the match was like, hey, gang up on them, and then they got kind of gang eliminated. Half the remaining participants got Shelton out, half of them got Cedric out. So yeah, man, I like that Shelton and Cedric were treated as big enough deals to have the whole match eliminate them. I always like it in those multi-man matches or battle royals or Royal Rumbles when somebody comes in excluding guys who are huge like Big Show or Khali or whatever, because then that's just logic, right? But if it's like, if I'm in the 2005 Royal Rumble, Muhammad Hassan came into the match. The 2005 Rumble, by the way, this is a huge tangent. I'm not going to go fully into it. The 2005 Rumble is one of the most well-booked Royal Rumble matches in my life. If you haven't watched it or you haven't watched it in a while and you forget, go back and watch it. The first half, like they booked it so well and they scheduled it and they planned it out and everything happened in such a good order of events and it was so good. But anyways, they were in the midst of this SmackDown versus Raw thing, where half the people in the Rumble Rumble were SmackDown guys, half of them were Raw guys. The Bischoff and Teddy Long had come out there to kind of like orchestrate, like, hey, listen, you guys got to fight those guys, because they had like, I think the thing going into Rumble that year was that Teddy and Bischoff both had to impress Vince or something. And then Muhammad Hassan makes his entrance, and you go from having like 10 guys in there fighting each other for brand stuff, all turning around and being like, hey, we don't like you. Fuck this beef that we've had. We're all getting you out of here because nobody likes you. So it puts heat on Muhammad Hassan, and it puts so much emphasis on him that it's like, oh shit, people hate him enough. He's such a big heel that everybody's going to get him out of the ring. So whenever, again, excluding a guy like a Big Show, like a Great Khali, like a whatever, whenever somebody is picked on by the whole match, like all the participants in the match, it always makes them feel important, makes them feel important, really. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, which I love. So I love that they did that, even though it's on the SmackDown. It should have been on the Mania, whatever. And even going back further than that, they shouldn't have been kicked out of the fucking Hurt Business, Vince McMahon, you moron. I'm happy that Shelton and Cedric were treated as a big enough deal in this match to have all the participants eliminate them after they got some steam eliminating Tozawa and Tucker. They had some retribution memes during the match where T-Bar and Mace had some joint eliminations. Slapjack wasn't really involved with them. He got eliminated a little bit earlier. They both eliminated... so they eliminated like 2 people, right? They had like 2 double eliminations. Then Riker and Elias got Slapjack out, I think it was. And then T-Bar and Mace, one of them got Riker, one of them got Elias. And then while they got those guys eliminated, Mustafa Ali eliminated Mace, which then got, and then he was arrogant about it. He was like, yeah, that's why I'm the leader. And then he turns around into a goozle from T-Bar. He's like, yo, I didn't mean it. T-Bar lifts him up to eliminate him. He stands on the ropes. Buddy Murphy gets involved. T-Bar diverts his attention, throws Buddy Murphy into the corner, and then Mustafa Ali uses that distraction and uses leverage with the ropes to eliminate T-Bar. And then he came in and rolled into a huge knee from Murphy, which was incredible. We had a Lucha House Party meme where they like faked a reunion where Kalisto was like, yo, let's try and lucha. And then they're like, yeah, fuck you. And then they attacked him. And then I think Lindsay eliminates Kalisto. Then Grand Metalik eliminates Lindsay. And then I think it was Corbin who eliminated Grand Metalik or something like that. It doesn't really matter. They kept putting over how the match was high stakes when it literally isn't. It's just a battle royal for to be on the card. If they would, I would really like it if maybe starting next year for the armbar, they would do something like the winner of the armbar gets a world title shot at the next pay-per-view or something like that. You know what I mean? Because then the armbar starts to mean something, because then you can put in higher profile names, which elevates the match itself just in terms of star power and making people want to see it. And then also you can propel somebody, and it can be kind of a way to communicate to the audience like, hey, this person won the armbar, they're going to get a world title shot, we're actually going to take them seriously, instead of, hey, here's this guy getting a win and we're going to do nothing with them for 10 years until we realize, hey, they're one of the best in the world, maybe we should push them. So yeah. But anyways, the last 7 was cool to see. We had Buddy Murphy, Garza, Mustafa Ali, Ricochet, Corbin, Jay, and Shinsuke. Buddy Murphy got eliminated by Garza. I think it was. Garza got eliminated by Corbin, I think. And then it was down to the last 5, which was, again, Ali, Ricochet, Corbin, Jay, and Shinsuke. Ali went out, then Ricochet went out, then Corbin went out, and then Jay won by last eliminating Shinsuke. Basically, Shinsuke went for a Kinshasa, got intercepted by a super kick, kind of stumbled back a bit and was like, no, fuck you, I'm hitting you with this Kinshasa. Kinshasa's the shit out of Jay, picks him up, starts, by grabbing the back of his neck, starts bringing him to the ropes. Jay turns around, and instead of just turning around and reversing like the throwing from the back of the neck thing, he turned around and did kind of like a suplex by grabbing him like by the legs and shit like that over his head and stuff. And then main event, Jey Uso with his first win in like half a year, 5 months, something like that, wins the armbar this year. Unfortunately on SmackDown, but it is what it is. As he's celebrating, Roman's music hits to steal his spotlight, maybe? I don't know, dude. And then Roman comes out, celebrates with him a little bit. Jay looks a little bit annoyed, and then we go to commercial and we come back for the Roman promo that ends the show. I just want to say really quick, if Roman does not win on WrestleMania, they could have an easy in to some Jay and Roman tension, because then Jay could be like, hey, I mean, I won Mania weekend. You're the one who let the family down this week, kind of thing. I don't think they will do that, but they could if they wanted to. They have that in now. If Roman isn't the guy to win at the main event, you know what I mean? On night 2. But then Roman cuts a promo. He says that he's annoyed that he has to even be there. He's not a politician. He doesn't need to sell himself to us. You know what I mean? He's got more to worry about. He has a match that he doesn't even have to get beat in to lose. But since he's here, he's going to state the obvious. He's going to win. He's going to do what his shirt says, show up, and win. You know what I mean? And show day is the easy day, because when every day of the week you're working at a level 12, going a level 10 one day a week on show day is easy. He's like, and for those who don't know, let me explain the shirt to you. When Roman Reigns shows up, WWE wins. You know what I mean? And I could be like Daniel Bryan or Edge and have one good week. I mean, Daniel Bryan last week, he looked good. And, Edge the week before that, man, what a badass, dude. What a badass. I could be like them and have one good week. But since August, SummerSlam, I've been doing it every week for over 30 weeks. And now the numbers don't lie. And they spelled, fuck, I fucked up my fucking Steiner meme. I'm so sorry. They spelled disaster for you at Sacrifice Samoa Joe. See, because with my 33rd and 1/3 chance, and your 62 and whatever, okay, whatever. Let's move on. Yeah, he says the numbers don't lie. Who changed the ratings on this show? Who made this title relevant and made it the one that everybody wants to win? Me. And that brings me to the Dreamers. Daniel Bryan wants, he doesn't want to hear no, he just wants somebody to say yes to him. And you're out here telling people that I tapped? You're holding on by a thread. If you had made me tap, you would be champion right now. And you didn't, and you can't, and you won't, kind of thing. And then he diverts his attention to Edge. He's like, come on, no one took it from you? That's garbage, man. Say it how it is. I took it from you and everyone else. Your comeback story ends. The title, winning the title at WrestleMania, that's not your dream. Main eventing WrestleMania with Roman Reigns is your dream, but that is where your story ends and my story begins. And speaking of dreams, like, I'm the one who fulfills dreams, and, who gave you the best year of your career? Us? Me. And like my associate says, this isn't a prediction. It's a spoiler. At WrestleMania, I'm going to wreck everyone and leave. I'm going to crush you. I'm going to stand tall and hold the title above my head. And you're going to look up at me and look up at the level of somebody who is light years ahead of you. $1 million of pyro is going to go off, and the whole world will acknowledge me. And then that is the end of his promo. So another fantastic promo. Again, I don't do it right with my the way I recall it. So if I would look up the YouTube clip, or if it's on rerun on your TV or whatever, 3 great promos from the guys in the main event, setting up for the main event. And yeah, man. Overall, SmackDown was good, I think. I didn't like the Raw video packages because it made it seem kind of like a pre-show that didn't matter. I didn't like that the armbar and the tag titles weren't on Mania at all, but whatever. Jay winning the armbar was good, I think. I mean, Shinsuke or Jay winning, both are good. We were left with kind of a win-win. With Corbin in there, you were kind of... As somebody who likes Corbin should not have won that match, so I'm happy he didn't. Yeah, I mean, once it was down to Jay and Shinsuke, we kind of had a win-win. Either Shinsuke gets a big win, and then you can maybe try and propel him off of that. Because if he's the one who eliminates Jay, then you can set up a thing with Jay, and then you could set up a thing with Roman, or you could set up whatever. And then if Jay wins, main event Jey Uso gets a win for the first time in 5 months and, gets some of his credibility back, I guess, so to speak. So, yeah, and then the tag titles, if you're not going to do, if there aren't going to be fans, don't put them on Rey and Dom. As much as I love Gable and Otis, probably shouldn't put them on them right now, and you don't need to put them back on the Street Profits right now. You know what I mean? Plus, if they're doing some Sonya stuff with the tag titles and Rude and Ziggler, because, Sonya and Ziggler have that whole Mandy Otis stuff from before. When Sonya first became in charge and Street Profits asked for their rematch, Sonya was talking to Dolph before they came by, and then Dolph went away, and then she talked to them when she was like, hey, we're going to give some other teams a chance, and then when you're healed, you know what I mean? So they have that seed planted of Sonya and Dolph, and then by association Rude, for the heel stuff. So if they're going to do something with that, then again, having them retain is also better in that regard. Naya and Tamina, trash. The backstage segment having Tamina and Natty look strong, trash. Bryan promo, great. Edge promo, fantastic. Big E promo, great. Bianca and Sasha interviews, good. Roman promo, great. You know what I mean? The Sammy stuff was good. The Seth Rollins political advertisement, political attack campaign thing was fantastic. So maybe... The Naya, Tamina, and then the women's tag stuff was so bad. I was going to say 8 out of 10, but I'll go down to a 7 out of 10 because of that, because it was that bad. And that coupled with the Raw video packages, because again, it made the show not feel that important and made it feel like, oh, okay, this is just the Mania pre-show, which you don't want your SmackDown to feel like, especially a SmackDown on Fox, because Fox is paying you $1 billion for SmackDown. So you probably shouldn't have your $1 billion A show feel like a free pre-show that you can stream on YouTube, because that's not good. But yeah, it didn't feel completely like that. But when the Raw video package was happening, you're like, oh, okay, tonight's show doesn't matter. Is essentially, the feeling you got from it. And in some respect, a go-home doesn't really matter because... At least a Mania go home doesn't really matter because you can't really change anything drastic on the Mania go home. You know what I mean? Like, it's not on the Mania go home like they could have been like, oh, hey, Bryan, you're going to have to fight Jay and Roman, and oh, Jimmy's back, and oh, we brought Samoa Joe out of 2K20 with his fucking bionic arm to come beat your ass and get you out of the main event. Sorry. You can't do that on the go home. So nothing huge can happen on the go home. It's just... to build into the go home, to, build people up, make people look good to the go home. So in some regard, the go home isn't the most important show ever, but it shouldn't feel like it's a YouTube 1 hour pre-show. And it didn't completely, but the moments that the Raw video packages were happening, for me, it kind of brought me out of it being a SmackDown and being like, oh, okay, this doesn't matter. So not the greatest, but I'll say a 7 out of 10 because, like I said, the promos for the main event were great. The Night 2 main event. The backstage interviews were good for the Night 1 main event. The Big E promo was good. And like I said, the tag match was good quality-wise, and then the booking made sense, in my opinion, because you don't have fans, so you shouldn't put it on Rey and Dom, like I said, and then Otis and Gable probably aren't ready, and the Street Profits don't need it. So might as well have the Dirty Dogs retain and look strong. And the way they did it sets up a Street Profits match perfect. And then, again, the Sonya link. And then Jay winning the armbar, Shinsuke being the last eliminated, the last 7 being a bunch of underutilized guys in Corbin. and Jay technically isn't underutilized anymore because he wasn't really underutilized since like 2016, since the repackaging of the Usos, because they caught fire when they repackaged, and they needed that because they were fucking dead in the water before that. So yeah, but anyways, that's not important to the but the last 7 having, you know, Murphy, having Garza, having Ali, Ricochet, you know what I mean, Shinsuke, is good, because the people watching, when you see those people left at the end, when you see the whole fucking, you know, group of competitors make it out to be like, hey, Cedric and Shelton, they used to be part of the Hurt Business, they're picking up steam, let's stop it now before it gets too much to stop. That makes Cedric, and, you know, you make people feel important early in the match while you're eliminating people, and then at the end of the match with the people left over, you make them feel important, you make them feel good, you make them feel like they are good wrestlers and stuff like that, higher up on the card than maybe you're using them, because they're that at the end of that gauntlet with that many people, or battle royal, sorry, with that many people. So yeah, I thought the armbar was fine. So yeah, overall, like I said, the Naya Tamina match and then the women's tag stuff was so bad, along with the Raw video packages being aired, that it brings it down to 7 for me, but still not a bad show. I am more excited for Mania than I was before SmackDown, so I think that's a good thing, because I'm excited for the main event more than I was. I'm excited for Bianca and Sasha more than I was, because now we know it's the main event. If it would have been the first match on the card, it kind of would have deflated my excitement for it, because the whole time I would have been like, yeah, this was good, but it should have been the main event, right? So now that we know that that's the main event, you know, boom, that's more excited. So yeah, man, good go home in my opinion. 7 out of 10, like I said. Let me know what you guys thought of SmackDown down in the comments below. Do you agree with my 7 out of 10? Was it higher, lower in your opinion? Do you agree with what I said about the matches and promos, or do you disagree? Let me know down in the comments. It's always nice to hear other opinions about the wrestling. If this is the first video that you're watching, you can check out some of the other shit I do on this series, which is gameplay, wrestling gameplay stuff. Primarily my GM mode series, because I book storylines in there. So if you'd like to see how I book wrestling in a video game format, you could do so with the GM mode, and then whatever else I have going on the channel right now. Please follow me on Twitter, link in the description. If you'd like to join the Discord server for the channel, you can also do so with the link in the description. Please sponsor me, Peasty, of course. Obligatory sponsor me gimmick, gotta fit it in there. And yeah, man, be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an episode, because YouTube likes to zuck your boy and not put my videos in your sub boxes. So by pressing that nice old bell icon, you will get a push notification anytime I do upload, and you'll never have to miss it. And yeah, man, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, share it to all your friends, comment down below, all that good shit. And I'll see you guys next time.